Ever notice how a 4-year-old with crayons is basically Picasso, but by high school we're like, can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, something's not adding up. So what even is creativity? It's not just painting sunsets or wearing mismatched socks and calling it fashion. Creativity is the superpower of connecting weird ideas, like putting wheels on shoes. Boom. Rollerblades. Legendary. It's how we got spaceships, smartphones, Spotify, and sadly, the pumpkin spice latte. But here's the kicker. The one thing that powers the future, school, kind of treats it like a virus. Creativity matters because it solves problems, starts businesses, and makes memes that unite humanity. So why are we teaching kids to color inside the lines when the future needs rule breakers? Let's talk about the traditional school system, designed not to spark minds but to control them. It wasn't built for dreamers, it was built for factory workers. Obey the bell, sit in rows, memorize, regurgitate, repeat. Creativity? Nah, that's a distraction. Teacher voice, eyes on your paper, no talking, no thinking outside the box. We act like every kid learns the same, thinks the same, is the same, which makes zero sense, unless you're baking cookies, not raising humans. The result? We reward silence. We punish questions. We're basically allergic to originality. We've been trained to follow instructions, but the world doesn't need instruction followers. It needs idea exploders. So, why are we still running school like it's 1890? Subscribe before they grade your imagination an F. Welcome to standardization, baby, where if you don't fit the mold, you get the moldy grade. Here's the problem. Standardized tests only measure one thing really well: how good you are at taking standardized tests. You could be the next Da Vinci, but if you can't bubble fast enough, sorry, you're now underperforming. Imagine judging a chef by how fast they can fill out a food safety form, or rejecting Elon Musk because he forgot to show his work in math. Creativity? Doesn't scan. Imagination? Not in the rubric. Thinking differently? Definitely suspicious behavior. Standardization turns unique minds into copy-paste bots. Quick question, who gets the gold star in school? The kid who thinks differently, or the one who never questions anything? In school, originality is like sneezing in an elevator, awkward, unwelcomed, and everyone pretends it didn't happen. But obedience? Oh baby, we love obedience. The system's built to raise rule followers. Sit still, do what you're told, don't color outside the lines. Bro, the lines are made up. Ask a weird question? Disruptive. Challenge the assignment? Difficult. Have a better idea? You think you're smarter than the teacher? We're not raising thinkers, we're raising human printers. Obedience might get you an A, but originality? That's what changes the world. Pop quiz. Which skill helps you succeed in real life? A. Blindly memorizing facts. B. Asking weird questions at 2 a.m. C. Solving new problems with duct tape and panic. D. All of the above. A marked correct. Kid who answered D starts a startup. In school, memorization is king. We reward the kid who remembers the mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell, but heaven forbid they ask why anyone needs to know that mid-bite in a chicken sandwich. Exploration? That's risky. That's messy. That's not in the textbook. We train students to store info, not understand it. You could literally memorize a Shakespeare play and still not know why Romeo had zero survival instincts. The system says, don't explore, don't wonder, just remember the date of the French Revolution and move on. But here's the twist. Real life? It's not a quiz, it's an escape room, and no one's giving you the answers. Somewhere between kindergarten and high school, asking the wrong answer went from adorable to public execution. Kindergartner, 2 plus 2 was broccoli? Isn't gravity fake in space? We don't learn that mistakes help us grow. We learn, if you're wrong, don't speak again. And suddenly it's not about learning, it's about not looking stupid. So kids stop raising their hands, they stop taking risks, and the classroom becomes a museum of silent geniuses. Because hey, better to say nothing than to be wrong in front of Kayla and her TikTok-ready judgment face. But here's the twist. Every inventor, artist, legend, they got it wrong first. Edison made 1,000 useless light bulbs before one worked, the number that decides your worth, or so they say. School teaches us that wrong equals bad, but real life, wrong is where the magic starts. Ah, the arts, painting, music, theater, the very things that teach you to think for yourself. But guess what? That is the last thing schools want you to do. Instead of fostering young Picassos or Mozarts, schools are out here cutting funding faster than you can say budget crisis. Forget art class. Budget cuts are the new medium of choice. Soon, the only thing students will be drawing is lines on a test paper. You think I'm kidding? Let's take a quick look at the school play. Or, what's left of it. The play? Oh, it's only half an hour long because, we need that extra time for more drill and kill math problems. Let's face it, if schools spent half as much energy on art as they do on test prep, we'd have a nation of Einsteins with flair instead of a bunch of robots who can memorize dates and facts but can't express an opinion without a multiple choice format. Don't even get me started on music class. It's gone from let's make some beautiful noise to play hot crossbuns for 45 minutes or we're cutting your class time. If you were to ask a school today, what's more important, learning how to solve problems or learning how to play music, guess which one would never make the top 10? School principal points at a Math is Life poster while the band members are kicked out. How grades are just a number. But a horrible one. The arts are where kids find their voices, their passions, their weirdness. But school? Nah, they'd rather have you memorize what a parallelogram is. Okay, hold your applause. Not all schools are locked in a battle against creativity. There's a whole revolution happening out there. Some countries and schools are realizing maybe you can't teach creativity in a box. Maybe you shouldn't. So they're doing it differently. They're rethinking how we teach. And creativity is back in the classroom, baby. Let's talk about Finland. Don't worry, they don't just have great coffee and weirdly good public transport. They're also leading the pack when it comes to creative education. Instead of drilling math until you're numb, they focus on holistic learning, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Sounds like a dream, right? And they're not alone. Countries like Singapore, Canada, and even parts of the UK are starting to recognize that memorizing facts is so last century. It's all about problem solving, exploration, and real-world application. And let's not forget the growing trend of project-based learning popping up everywhere. Kids aren't just staring at textbooks. They're working on real-world problems, doing internships, creating apps, designing sustainable solutions. Okay, we've roasted the school system harder than cafeteria pizza. We've exposed the flaws, laughed through the pain, and seen how some schools are turning it around. So now the big question is, what do we do next? First off, no, you don't have to burn your textbooks and start a podcast in the woods. The solution isn't chaos. It's change. Guided, intentional, actually thought-through change. Here's the prescription. Start with schools that value questions more than answers. Let kids explore, build, fail, rebuild. Let them get messy. Let them be weird. That's where creativity lives. It's time to trade fear for curiosity, trade memorization for exploration, trade silence for voice. And yeah, it'll take proper training, modern methods, and a little bit of courage from the grown-ups. Teachers need support, students need space. And the system? Well, it needs a little therapy and a big ol' makeover. Creativity isn't a luxury. It's not an extra. It's essential for solving problems, for building things, for being human. Final message, be curious, stay weird, build differently. So if you're a student, ask more questions. If you're a parent, demand more freedom for your kids' ideas. If you're a teacher, fight for change even in small ways. And if you're anyone else, never stop learning creatively. If you made it this far, you're officially immune to boring education systems and standardized thinking. Now don't just leave quietly. Smash that like button like it's a pop quiz you weren't ready for. Subscribe if you believe the system needs fixing. And drop a comment below. What's one thing you'd change about school right now? Oh, and don't go anywhere. Because in the next video, we're diving headfirst into something extra-dimensional. Literally. We're talking, what is the fourth dimension? Everything you need to know, broken down in a way that even your WhatsApp group could understand. It's going to get weird, trippy, and mind-expanding, just how we like it. So hit that bell, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next dimension.